Alright. Time for my favorite game. Ah! How did I get into this mess? Why? Why did I do that? That girl, you shouldn't see her anymore. Hey, it's none of your business. I'm telling you for your sake, if you continue to see her, it's gonna be bad news. You're lying. Just listen to me. There's something you need to know about that girl. Stop it. Don't talk about her like that. It wasn't me. I didn't do it. Yeah, so I played the games out of order. This was the first one I played. Not intentional, just how it worked out. So I had a really different first impression of Phoenix. Whew, it's finally time. I'm kind of nervous. Ahem. Oh, Mr. Grossberg, good morning. Ah, Mia, please calm yourself down. You're going to get yourself arrested for suspicious behavior, you know. What are you talking about? I am relaxed, Mr. Grossberg. Look at me, I'm relaxed. Let go of my lapels. You obviously haven't got the temperament to be a lawyer. I'm so sorry, it's just that I'm so nervous today. Oh, that's right, this is your first time in the big leagues, isn't it? Well, never you fear, my dear, I, Marvin Grossberg, am at your service. Actually, this is my second time in court. Still, you surprised me. What with your earnest request last night? Let me handle this case, you suddenly said. And quite forcefully, too. I just found out yesterday. About the case, I mean. What? And you've already learned all the relevant facts? Well, about that. You see, I haven't gone through the tutorial. I mean, of course I have, I think. Oh, dear. In any case, don't let our client see you so nervous. You see the poor young man in the pink sweater over there? That's our client. Cough, sniffle. Good morning there, everybody. Good morning. Try to keep smiling, Mia. I just want to say, I'll give it all I've got. Yep, it'll be fine. No prob. Achoo, achoo, cough, cough. Oh, what's wrong? Do you have a cold or something? Mr. Rye? Actually, it's Wright. Like the Flying Brothers. People screw it up all the time. And yes, I have a cold. The big virus. That's what this mask is for. My doc says this way I won't give it to anyone else. Be kind to others, he says. Right, Mr. Wright. You have nothing to fear in court today. If you truly are innocent, I promise I will save you. Please let go of my shirt, cough. That's right. He's the one on trial, not you. He's the one who should be nervous. You need to stay strong for your client, Mia. My name is Mia Fey. I'm still pretty new at this lawyer thing. The first time I appeared in court was a year ago. But that trial traumatized me so badly I thought I'd never set foot in another courtroom. That's fair enough given the circumstances of the crime. It's been 1 year since then, and well, here I am again. But this time I'm going to win. For my client and for myself. There he is. Court is now in session for the trial of Phoenix Wright. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense today is, Miss Mia Fey, was it? Yes, Your Honor. Is there a problem? I was under the impression that Marvin Grossberg was to be leading the defense. Yes, well, you see, Mr. Grossberg had a bit of an emergency. Emergency? But isn't that him standing right there next to you? Yes, well, you see, it's complicated. You're just a rookie. Are you sure you can really handle this? Don't let him scare you, Mia. Give him your toughest look. Of course, Your Honor. I think. Well, Mr. Payne, your opening statement, please.
Well. I can't believe a veteran like me has to spend his time babysitting a new defense lawyer. Don't worry, little girl, it'll all be over soon.
What was that all about? Was he trying to trash talk me?
Now then, I'd like to proceed with a summary of events on the day in question. The incident occurred on the campus of Ivy University. The murder victim was a student named Doug Swallow.
Unfortunate name.
He was a fourth-year student studying pharmacology.
Sounds like he was a very bright young man.
Yes, well, next we have a photo taken at the scene of the crime.
Yep, that's not weird at all.
Students discovered the scene shortly after the murder. They found the victim's body. And the defendant, who had obviously bungled his getaway, they then called the police.
That certainly makes the defendant look very suspicious indeed. Very well. The court accepts this photo into evidence. By the way, I can't quite tell the cause of death from this photo.
Your reputation for Sage's sagacity is well earned, Your Honor. The truth is, this victim died a rather unusual death.
An unusual death? What do you mean, Mr. Payne?
Well, perhaps the defense would like to take this question.
Huh?
A simple question. I thought I might loosen you up a bit. I'm a genteel man, if you will.
What? Stand up to him, Mia. Show him what you're made of. Oh, perfect opportunity. Well, what was it? The cause. Go on. Please say you know that much at least. Hold on, brother. Fatal electric shock. Oh, gee. Well, I had no idea. I never could have guessed. Please say you know at least this much. I'm sorry, I didn't get a chance to read through the whole file. I only missed one of the most critical parts of it. Oh, my hemorrhoids are beginning to act up. Now, see here. The details of the case are filed into the court record. But you know that already, didn't you? Ah, the court record. I think I can see that by pressing tab. All of the weapons we need can be found in the court record. Take a good hard look at the data there and think carefully before you answer, my dear. Yes, sir. I'll do just that. I gotta stay calm. I can't let that prosecutor get the better of me. The court record. Okay, let's take a look. Now then, would the attorney for the defense please answer the question? What was the cause of death? Electrocution. According to the court record, it was a fatal electric shock. In other words, electrocution. Indeed. I don't see why you felt the need to rephrase that. Electrocution? But how could such a thing happen? You know, Judge, that's a true mystery right there. I feel like we might have to put a lot of effort into uncovering that one. Did the murderer use a type of new super powerful stun gun, perhaps?
The answer to that will become crystal clear at this trial, as this trial proceeds, Your Honor. But before that, there's one more vital issue.
What's that?
Why, motive, of course. Apparently, there was some bad blood between the victim and the defendant.
Bad blood? What do you mean?
Oopsie, I'm terribly sorry. You're the defense attorney, so you must know all about it. I shouldn't be stealing your spotlight like this.
I really don't like this guy's smug attitude. That's Winston Payne for you. He's one smooth operator, if you catch my drift. What does that mean? First off, no, but secondarily, what do you mean if you catch my drift?
They don't...
No, it's not him. They don't call him the rookie killer for nothing, you know, even though he loses every trial.
And now then, let's hear from the defense. What was the source of the bad blood between the victim and the defendant? And this time I would like to see some supporting evidence.
Evidence? Ah, no need to get all worked up over this. As I said, all our weapons can be found in the court record. Find the evidence you need and shove it into old Greybeard's face. Yes, sir. Into old Greybeard's face.
Mr. Grossberg, try to set a better example for the young lady.
Mia, evidence isn't the only thing in the court record. People's profiles are as well. You can toggle between profiles and evidence with tab, so be sure to go over it all.
Now, let's see what you've got. What was the cause?
That one. The reason for the bad blood between the two of them was this woman here.
Dahlia Hawthorne, is it? Very good, Miss Fay. You seem to have picked up on at least that much. This woman is the girlfriend of the defendant, Phoenix Wright. But up until about 8 months ago, she was with the victim, Mr. Swallow.
Ugh.
Clearly, she has some part to play in this story.
He's done it again. Before the cross-examination starts, he's already got the judge thinking like he wants. The judge just believes the last thing he heard. It's okay.
Very well, Mr. Payne, please call your first witness. If it pleases the court, the prosecution would like to call Mr. Phoenix Wright.
What? The defendant himself? Well, Miss Fay, it's fine. After all, Mr. Wright is innocent, right? Terrible idea. Best avoided having the defendant go on the stand if you can do it. The defense has no objection.
Very well. The court calls Mr. Phoenix Wright to the witness stand. Witness, please state your name and occupation.
Oh, yes, my name's Phoenix Wright. My job's, well, right now I guess I'm a suspect.
No, he means what did you do before you were arrested?
Oh, achoo. I was a university student.
Mr. Wright, you understand that you are suspected in the death of your fellow student.
But I didn't do it. I'm innocent, I tell you. I'm telling you I was achoo, cough, achoo, cough.
Would the defendant please refrain from passing on his call to the rest of us? It seems the witness has something he wants to say.
Well then, Mr. Wright, please tell us about your relation to the victim. Right away, Your Honor. I admit I was there, but I'm not a killer. All I did was find his body. I hardly knew the guy to begin with. I never even talked to that stuck-up British wannabe. Well, how do you know he's a British wannabe, then?
I see. So you hardly knew the victim.
Right. Like I said, I'm not a killer. Whew. Looks like the judge understands. You're being naive, you know. Too naive. Huh?
It seems that you've forgotten one small thing, young lady.
And that would be?
This witness still has to undergo something called cross-examination.
Cross-examination? He's right, and it's the defense's duty to carry out the cross-examination. The purpose is to determine if the witness's testimony contains any contradictions. Contradictions? If a witness is lying, their statement will conflict with the court record. But Mr. Wright is my client. Even if he is your client, in court all lies must be struck down. As a lawyer, that is your duty, you see. What does he mean by that? Is he saying that testimony just now? That there was a lie?
And now then, your cross-examination, if you please.
Please tell me you haven't been lying, Mr. Wright. You wouldn't do that to me, would you? Alright. What do the profiles say? I was wondering if one of them just said, yeah, you know. Best pals they were, actually. I'm not a killer, all I did was find his body. So... it's like this sentence about, surely they don't want me to press already. Usually they do one easy one, but nothing stands out. Right? Anyway. Do you think I would just slam I hardly knew the guy to begin with Dahlia Hawthorne? Surely not. It's just they don't usually have you press on, like, the very first thing. So you didn't even know his face or even his name, right? Right! Well, well, no, that is, I mean. So, which is it? Did you know him or not? Achoo, achoo, achoo.
Now see here, you can't avoid answering the question by sneezing all day.
Well, I guess I did know his name. News to me, why didn't he tell me that before? I heard he used to date Dolly.
Who's this Dolly person? That would be the defendant's lover, Miss Dahlia Hawthorne. Oh, I see. Young love, so bittersweet.
But that's all I knew about him. Mr. Wright, you stated the following in your testimony. I hardly knew the guy to begin with. That's right. I mean, why would I even... But that doesn't sound right. If you hardly knew him, then why would you say the victim was a stuck-up British wannabe? Achoo. Well, Mr. Wright... no, it wasn't me. I'm not a killer, I swear.
Mr. Wright, I will give you an opportunity to revise your testimony. How is it that you knew the victim was, as you put it, a British wannabe?
Yes, well... I was walking around with a huge Union Jack on the back of his shirt. Where? Are you certain you saw the Union Jack? Yeah, I'm sure. It was right there on his back.
Miss Fay, is there a point to this line of questioning?
Your Honor, please take another look at the crime scene photo. As you can see, there's absolutely nothing on the victim's back. Hey, wait a minute, he's wearing a leather jacket. The Union Jack was on the back of the t-shirt he was wearing. I was under the impression that you accidentally came across the body. But if that really was the case, then you wouldn't know that, would you? You have no idea what he was wearing underneath that jacket. Mr. Wright, you've been lying to me. Please forgive me. Oh, Mia, you've made our client cry. Let him. That P on his chest doesn't stand for Phoenix anyway. I can't believe I trusted him. Mr. Wright was all wrong.
That was an impressive bit of cross-examination. Thank you for uncovering the defendant's lies for me. It's quite clear this man did not simply stumble upon the scene of the crime.
Uh-oh. Did I go too far?
By the way, Mr. Wright, you seem to have a rather bad cold. Have you taken any medicine for it?
Yeah, I took some, but...
Was the medicine that you took an over-the-counter brand called Cold Killer X?
What a fucking sick name for a drug, dude. That's right, it kills colds good. Hey, wait a second. How did you know I'm a big fan of Cold Killer X? Weird thing to say. Weird to describe yourself as a fan of a certain brand of medication.
Would you happen to not have that medicine with you right now?
Well, actually, I seem to have lost it somewhere. He lost it? Does this even have anything to do with the case? I wonder.
Mr. Wright, shall I tell you where your cold medicine is right now?
Huh?
Your Honor, I'd like to take another look at the photo from the crime scene.
What's this?
In the victim's hand, it's Cold Killer X.
It could be Cold Killer Y. You don't know. Yes, but I've got a bottle of Cold Killer X in my apartment.
I'm sorry, but I'm afraid that argument won't work. There's no doubt as to who this bottle of Cold Killer X belongs to. Especially since Mr. Wright's fingerprints are all over it.
What?
Sensing his murderous intent, Mr. Swallow must have picked up the bottle of medicine, dropped by Mr. Wright and hid it in his hand. His purpose in doing so can only have been to identify his killer as Phoenix Wright.
Weird line of reasoning to go down, to be honest. Don't feel like you needed to tag all that extra stuff on.
Order in the court. Your Honor, I'd like to present this photo and bottle as evidence. Very well. The court will accept them into the record. Also, the victim's wristwatch was broken.
Broken?
Yes, it ceased functioning when a large wave of electricity passed through it. Well, Mr. Wright, do you have some kind of explanation for all of this?
This is really bad. Oh, my buttocks. My poor, poor hemorrhoids. Took us 3 games to get there, but that's why he's Grossberg. The truth is, I went because he called me. He was in the pharmacology department, so he agreed to meet at 2:45 behind that building. We talked for a bit, then around 3 we split up. Then later when I went back, I found him lying there. I've been taking Cold Killer X for the last 2 or 3 days, but I lost my bottle of it around lunchtime the day of the accident.
Mr. Wright, that's completely different from the testimony you gave previously.
Achoo, achoo, achoo. I'm sorry, Your Honor. I was afraid you wouldn't believe the truth.
You'll forgive me if I say I hardly find your current testimony any more credible. Miss Fay, please begin your cross-examination.
Oh, please, Mr. Wright, don't tell any more lies. Have you ever met the victim before then? No, never. But that day he called up and told me he wanted to talk about Dolly.
And this Dolly person is?
You've forgotten the thing from 2 minutes ago, I see. It's kind of embarrassing. She's, my, sweetheart.
Oomph! Oh, what was that for, Mia?
Oh, I'm sorry. I just felt like slapping something all of a sudden. Okay.
Dahlia Hawthorne was also the lover of the murder victim, Doug Swallow.
Ugh.
Before she met Mr. Wright, that is.
So it was one of those nasty love triangles, I see. Was it Mr. Swallow who indicated you should meet at 2:45? Yeah, and we were both there right on time.
You said the victim was in the pharmacology department, correct?
Yeah, he was studying how to manufacture and improve pharmaceuticals. Oh, Jesus Christ. Everyone calls him the alchemist of IVU. That's dumb as hell, but...
An alchemist?
I see. I gotta admit, it was a little suspicious. He had a whole laboratory and everything. Yeah, he's definitely making crack. It was filled with chemicals and strange machines that run on high-voltage electricity.
Oh, how fascinating. He sounds like he was quite an ambitious young man.
What do I do? Maybe I should ask for more details. About the timing? So you're absolutely certain you met at 2:45? Yeah, pretty sure. That's a... fuck, fuck, I was trying to click on the court record that time. Oh god, what a disaster. Because I wanted to look at his watch. Oh, what the fuck, 12's there? So it stopped at 3:05? Wait, right? I am reading that, right, aren't I? That's 12. Yeah, it's upside down and I'm having trouble picturing it the right way up in my head. Experiments? Yeah, those pharmacology guys are always in the lab whipping up something, doing mad science, you know how it is.
Witness, let's go on with your testimony.
We talked for a bit and then split up around 3, we split up. So what was it you were talking about? You know, achoo, cough. That maybe we should hang out again sometime. Hang out again sometime? I wish that were true. Way to give away the fact that you knew. You knew him? So you say you went back. Yeah, that's when I found the body. Yes, but why did you go back in the first place? Weren't you angry with him? Well, that's right, I was. Then why, Mr. Wright? Why did you go back there? I thought maybe we could make up. My dude. What are you doing? Remember to stay hydrated. I'm ready. Achoo, achoo. Judging by the atmosphere, I'm pretty sure no one is buying this. like, the time is incongruent. So, like, because he's saying that, but the time on the watch is different. No, it died at 3 p.m. The watch says something different, though. The watch says 3:05. This is the contradiction I want to point out. The watch's time doesn't line up, but I don't know which one I would do that on exactly. It's rather unusual to catch a cold this time of year, isn't it? Weird thing to say, to be honest. Now you can catch a cold anytime. I always get a little careless when the weather starts to warm up. I guess I shouldn't sleep with the window open this early in spring, huh? I suppose common sense is not always common. So did anyone else that you know that you were taking cold medicine? Well, I always took one after meals, so I'm pretty sure all my friends knew about it. On the day of the incident, what did you do for lunch? Huh? What does that have to do with anything? You can never be too sure. I always eat with Dolly, just the two of us. Dolly's homemade lunches are just the greatest. Her mini omelets are magically delicious. Youch! What did you punch me? Why did you punch me in the jaw? Oh, I'm sorry, I just felt like hurting someone all of a sudden. Relatable. Well, Mia? I don't know. Yeah. Did I press everything? Did I press on this? So you say you went back. Oh yeah, that's when I found the body. Yes, but why did you go? Okay, I did press on this. Alright. Which one do I put the watch on? This one? Ugh. How exactly do you want me to point out this time incongruity? Maybe I press on the pharmacology, because there was an option for pharmacology department, actually. I was wondering if you could tell us a bit more about the pharmacology department? Oh, well, okay, sure. I don't know all that much, though. A little bit earlier in your testimony, you said something interesting. You said the department uses strange machines that run on high-voltage electricity. Yeah, that's right. They sure look dangerous. They use non-standard voltage, so there are high-voltage cables everywhere. High-voltage cables? Yeah, there were electrical poles set up all around the building. The high-voltage cables run overhead around the roof. Finally, I think we're getting somewhere. Alright, goddammit.
I think that's enough for now. So the defendant and the victim met at approximately the time of his death. And the defendant returned to the scene for some unknown reason. I'm not entirely convinced by his explanation about the medicine bottle either. Let me be frank here, Mr. Wright. You can still be Mr. Wright, though. Your testimony cannot be trusted.
What do you mean?
I knew it was too much work for a little girl.
However, there is one mystery that still remains.
There is, Your Honor.
How the murder was carried out, of course. Just how was the victim electrocuted? I don't believe the murder weapon has been produced yet, correct?
Well, that is, you're correct, Your Honor.
So how exactly was Mr. Swallow killed? Indeed. Quite the mystery. I can think of nothing that would have given him an electric shock. If I could somehow establish how it was done, maybe I could still come out of this mess smelling like a rose. Behold. Your Honor.
Yes, Miss Fay?
I believe that if we were to piece together everything we've heard up until now, we should be able to solve the mystery of how Mr. Swallow died.
That would be most impressive.
Quite the brash statement coming from a rookie. But even a beginner like you must understand the basic rules of court, yes. An attorney must be able to substantiate their arguments with evidence. The prosecution is not bound by such rules, however.
Of course I know that. Actually, I'd forgotten about that. I thought you could make things up and do it, you know. The prosecution always does.
Now then, Miss Fay, let's see what you've got. Show me how you believe the victim was electrocuted.
As for the cause of death, I'd say this picture captures it quite well.
What? But there's nothing that could even remotely resembles a murder weapon here.
Indeed. Quite so. Nothing suspicious.
I'm afraid the defense is going to have to explain this in a bit more detail. Miss Faye, where exactly in this photo is the murder weapon?
You see, it's right here, you dumb bitch. Well, naturally, it's right here.
That's... What is that? I've never seen an electrical cable in my life. You'll have to explain it.
A severed electrical cable, I believe, Your Honor. Remember the testimony we've heard. The machines the pharmacology students use in their experiments requires high voltage. And because of that, there are special high voltage cables strung up everywhere. And they just sort of leave those to dangle free if they go down. You know, there's no concern.
So then, the high voltage cable.
Yes, the high voltage cable is the cause of death. That's the most likely explanation.
That certainly sounds plausible. Well, Mr. Payne, what do you have to say about this?
Well, I believe some praise is in order.
Don't toy with me, old man.
Now, the victim's cause of death may indeed have been a high-voltage cable. However, I want you to think about what that really implies. The only one who had the opportunity to use the cable as a murder weapon was the defendant.
Achoo. I don't know, ma'am. You all missed the electrical cable in the photo, so who's to say he didn't miss it as well and just walk straight into it?
Well, that much is certainly true.
And that's not all. We have proof. Irrefutable proof that will establish Mr. Wright was the murderer.
You do? Well, what is it?
His fingerprints.
Fingerprints? You mean the defendant's fingerprints were on something besides the medicine bottle?
Let's take another look at the crime scene photo. As you can see, the victim is wearing a leather jacket. As you may know, leather holds fingerprints quite well.
Ah, you mean?
Yes, it was quite clearly imprinted on the chest area of the victim's jacket. The palm print of the defendant's very own hand.
What?
I can only think of one way Mr. Wright could have left a print like that. Intent on murder, he squarely pushed the victim towards the severed electrical cable.
Order, that's enough. I think we can conclude there's no reason to continue with this cross-examination.
Stick a fork in us, we're done. Mr. Grossberg, my hemorrhoids never lie. The show is over, Mia. I knew that boy was guilty for the first time I saw him. No, you're wrong. Mr. Wright is innocent.
No further evidence is required to convince me of this man's guilt.
Your Honor.
At this time, I'm prepared to render a verdict in this case. Do you have something further to add, Miss Faye?
Is this what you want, Mr. Wright? You still haven't told us the truth, the whole truth. If you don't say something now, the judge is going to hand down his verdict. But I just can't say it. If I told you what really happened, then I'd be... It's okay, Mr. Wright. I'm your attorney. You can trust me. Miss Faye, no matter what it is you have to say, I believe in you and I'll represent you to the very end.
We've already established the defendant's guilt. There's no further need for him to say anything.
Cough, cough. Wait a minute, Mr. Wright. I'll tell you what really happened.
But I've already told you, Mr. Wright, there's no need for further.
Cough. I did it. I admit it, I pushed him. It's my fault. My fault that Doug Swallow is dead. That girl, you shouldn't see her anymore. Hey, it's none of your business. I'm telling you for your sake, if you continue to see her, it's gonna be bad news. You're lying. Just listen to me. There's something you need to know about that girl. Stop it. Don't talk about her like that. fucking sent him careening through the air, banished him to the Shadow Realm in one single strike.
What you just said, was that the truth?
Yes, I was afraid that if I told the truth, everyone would think I was the murderer for sure.
Well, as things currently stand, we are all absolutely convinced you are.
Please give me one more chance to explain. This time I swear I'll tell the whole truth. It'll be okay, won't it, Miss Faye? I believe in you. Oh, thank you. I didn't think you were going to confess, so this is awkward now. I still can't believe it. He really did push the victim. It feels like my hemorrhoids are doing the Harlem Shake. I know. That guy, he was talking bad about Dolly. Do you think if we press on that, the judge will ask who Dolly is for a third time? I lost my temper and gave him a shove. At that moment, I heard some kind of loud noise. A little while after I left, I started to get worried, so I went back, but he was just laying there, dead.
Well, the explanation is really quite simple. When you pushed him, Mr. Swallow flew back, banished to the Shadow Realm, and touched the electrical cable.
Right. However, why is he face down? Shouldn't he be on his back?
He died from the shock, and that, as they say, is that. A simple explanation indeed. At the time of the incident, a light rain had been falling. Wet from the rain, the victim was more easily electrocuted.
I feel like that is irrelevant if you touch a high voltage cable. But when I pushed him, there weren't any electrical cables nearby. If there had been something like that, I would have noticed it. That's true. Even a doofus like him couldn't miss that. Well, yeah, the problem is, Phoenix, they're saying you did it intentionally. So it wouldn't matter if you saw it or not. Well, okay, it matters. You know what I mean? They think you did it intentionally, so they aren't gonna believe you saying that you just didn't see them.
Miss Faye, let me warn you right now that if your cross-examination doesn't yield any new facts, I intend to deliver my verdict without further delay. Are we clear on that?
Yes, Your Honor. Don't give up, Mia. If he's innocent, there must be some evidence somewhere that will prove it. Do you think I can just slam the photo on this one right now? Probably not, right? Can you tell me about what happened in a little more detail? Perhaps describe that he fell on his back when you pushed him? That would be the most convenient thing you could say. That guy, he just said what he wanted to say to me. And then he put on the jacket he was holding and started to leave. That's when I lost my temper and flew into a furious frenzy. I just gave him a light, gentle shove to the chest. And when you did that, there were no severed cables anywhere to be seen? Right. There was nothing like that at all.
But is it possible you merely overlooked it?
Well, I guess it's possible. What are you doing? Don't let the guy steamroll over you like cheap asphalt.
I believe what's important here is the push occurred. Let's continue with the testimony.
Alright, I'm slamming it. Why is he on his stomach and not his back? Oh. Smad. God damn. Alright. So what kind of things did Mr. Swallow say to you? He said all sorts of terrible things about Dolly. He said that she was a bad girl. Oh, wow.
Is that all?
Yep.
Well, Miss Faye, you heard him yourself.
Oh boy, you're not doing yourself any favors here, Mr. Wright. Please do make it any harder than it already is. A loud noise? And what would you say that loud noise was, Mr. Wright? I'm not sure, but it was really loud. It was like, snap. You know, come to think of it, I wonder what that was.
Clearly, Your Honor, it was the sound of the victim being electrocuted.
You're not qualified to decide that. What should I do? Ask for more details. Mr. Wright, that loud noise you heard may be extremely important, so try to remember what it was. How do I put it? It was like a sharp crack. Could it have been? Yes, could it have been? Hurry up and tell us. When I pushed him, he dropped the umbrella he was holding. He fell right on top of it and it broke. That was probably the noise. Oh, God. So what I'll actually say is, why is he not next to the umbrella now instead? Even though I feel like him being on his stomach should already count as being a contradiction.
An umbrella, huh? And did that umbrella belong to the victim?
Yeah, it was a plastic umbrella, cheap and frail, kind of like the owner. Don't say that. Then again, I wish I had any kind of umbrella. I was totally soaked to the bone.
Miss Fay, what do you think? Is there something important in this testimony?
Of course it's important. This is it, Mia, the new information you've been waiting for. Of course it's important. No, that cheap umbrella is more than important. It's vital. I want to officially have it entered into the testimony.
Ha! How perfectly fitting. Flimsy information for a flimsy lawyer. The court agrees to defense's request. Witness, please add the bit about the cheap umbrella to your testimony. Please be sure to include that it was cheap.
I'm so mad. Why didn't you testify about the umbrella from the very beginning? Come on, if I had mentioned that, I would have been able to counter the prosecution's arguments earlier.
What do you mean by that?
Take another look at the crime scene photo. According to Mr. Wright, the victim fell on top of his umbrella. However, if you look closely, the umbrella is nowhere near the victim. Actually, it's by the electrical pole.
Well, you're absolutely right.
The conclusion here is obvious. After the defendant left, the victim moved from where he fell. In other words, after he was pushed by the defendant, Mr. Swallow was still alive.
No. Order. The victim, he moved? Mr. Payne, the umbrella in this photo, where is it now? Well, it was collected by the police at the crime scene. I want it presented as evidence immediately.
Owned by the victim. Okay.
But the umbrella could have simply been blown there by the wind.
According to the testimony, the victim fell on top of the umbrella. There's simply no way it could have been blown there by the wind. I don't find that particularly compelling, to be honest with you.
I know this matter of the umbrella seems relatively trivial, but as long as the smallest doubt remains, I cannot render final judgment. No. I must say I still find it hard to believe. There's a huge hole has been blown in the prosecution's testimony by the prosecution's case by the defendant's testimony.
Fell on top of his umbrella, there was a loud sound. Well done, Mia.
Mr. Payne, what are you chuckling about? Pardon me, Your Honor. It seems I was expecting too much of a free ride. It was foolish to think I could establish guilt through cross-examination alone. I'm afraid I don't follow what you're saying. Our entire court system revolves around cross-examinations.
Let me guess, you have another witness?
Exactly. And this witness's testimony will be incontrovertible. Well, who is this witness? Miss Dahlia Hawthorne. Dahlia Hawthorne? You don't mean Dolly? I do, Your Honor. The defendant's very own lover is a witness to the whole thing. That's right, she was at the scene of the crime when the murder took place. What? I'm sorry to break the bad news to you, my dear.
Bad news? You couldn't be more wrong. Actually, I've been waiting for this.
You can't be serious.
Mia, what do you mean by that?
I think this is a good point for us to stop at. Court will now enter a 20-minute recess. Afterwards, we will listen to the testimony of Miss Dahlia Hawthorne.
What if we had a to be continued in the middle of the tutorial case? Miss Faye, I'm sorry about what happened back there. It's alright. At least you told us the truth in the end, Mr. Wright. Crazy that they would believe a word you said after lying twice, though. I guess I can start to relax, huh? Relax, my boy. You can't be serious after hiding such important facts. But the next witness is my Dolly, right? She'll save me. I just know she will. Yeah, that's why she's testifying for the prosecution, brother. Definitely. Why do you think that? Huh? What do you mean? She's the love of my life, that's why. The love of your life? Huh. Would you mind telling me more about you and Miss Dahlia Hawthorne? Sure, no problem. Dolly and I, we first met about 8 months ago, right here in this very courthouse. Actually, I'm studying to be a lawyer on the side anyway. One day, she and I just bumped into each other in the reading room downstairs. That's why I really think it was fate that brought us together. As soon as I first set eyes on her, I knew she was the one for me. Oh, here, take a look at this. She gave this to me the day that we met as a symbol of our love. She'd been wearing it around her neck that day, but then she took it off. But before she gave it to me, she said, I want you to carry this. So she gave it to you as a present, I see. Immediately after meeting. How strange. This darling little bottle is filled with memories of my darling little Dolly. It certainly is a little bottle, alright. When thing that should be big is actually small, fucking love that shit, dude. Let's go. Big bottle? Whack. Tiny bottle? Let's go. Makes me so happy. I show it to everyone I meet. I want to share my happiness with the whole world. Anyway. So after that, you and Miss Hawthorne started dating? Yeah, because she was so shy. Every time I see her, she always says the same thing to me. Please give it back now. What a strange girl asking for a present back like that. By the way, Mr. Wright, the day you first met Dahlia Hawthorne, 8 months ago, it wouldn't happen to be on August 27th, would it? Huh? Yeah, it was. But how did you... This happened on August 27th, right here in this courthouse. What's this, a newspaper clipping? Let's see. Murder in the courthouse? Murder? What are you reading there? Let me see that. Oh, I see. Mia, I think I understand what you're trying to say. And I think I understand why you suddenly took such a keen interest in this case. You believe there is some connection between these two cases, am I correct? I hope you don't mind, Mr. Grossberg. I need to finish this myself. Ah, yes, but I'm afraid what you have will not be enough, my dear. I'll go and have a look in the downstairs reading room and see what else I can find. Thank you. I want to do whatever I can to be of help to you, Mia. Well, it looks like recess is about over. We'd all better get moving. I guess, that recess seemed longer than 20 minutes, though. Really, I would say the opposite. Yeah, now we've got a real tutorial case, brother. It's a two-parter. Oh, fuck, that was a jazzy tune. Let's go. Right there.